Today, we are diving headfirst into a financial minefield. We're counting down the 15 gas-powered SUVs, and yeah, some of them are brand new models that are basically on a collision course with being worthless by 2026. If you own one of these, you are losing thousands of dollars practically every single day. So that brings us to the big question, right? Is that beautiful, shiny new SUV sitting in your driveway actually a ticking financial time bomb? And let's be crystal clear, we're not talking about EVs here. Nope, these are popular, everyday, gas-guzzling SUVs that are turning into absolute financial nightmares for their owners as we speak.
All right, let's get right into it. We're going to start our countdown with some pretty serious offenders. And trust me, it only gets worse from here. So here we go with the first 8 vehicles on our list of depreciation disasters. Kicking us off at number 15 is the redesigned 2025 Buick Enclave. Now, you'd think a major redesign would actually help its value, right? Well, for the Enclave, it's been the exact opposite, a total backfire.
I mean, the speed of this collapse is just staggering. We are talking about a 50% loss in just 3 years. That means your $50,000 family SUV is suddenly a $25,000 liability. So what on earth is going on? Well, it's 2 things. First, Buick just flooded the market, selling tons of these to rental fleets. So when all those identical, high-mileage cars hit the used market at the same time, poof, the value tanks for everybody. And second, buyers are just not thrilled with the new 2.5-liter turbocharged engine, complaining about noise and reliability problems. So next up, at numbers 14 and 13, we see a problem that keeps popping up, a brand identity crisis. You've got the Infiniti QX80, for example, losing 51% of its value. See, it's got a luxury price tag, but it just doesn't have that same prestige, that brand cachet, as, say, a Lexus or a Cadillac. And then you've got the Nissan Murano, which is priced like it's a near-luxury vehicle, but it's wearing a mainstream badge. People just aren't buying it, which forces dealers to offer these massive discounts that absolutely destroy its resale value down the line. And coming in at number 12, we've got an American icon, the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Yeah, it's one of the most popular SUVs you'll see on the road, but that popularity hides a really dark secret. Just awful reliability and a shocking loss in value. And here it is, the heart of the problem. This 5th-generation model has been recalled 15 times since it launched in 2021. No, you did not hear that wrong. 15 recalls. For everything from the engine just suddenly losing power to the infotainment screens going completely blank. Is it any wonder it's losing 52% of its value in 3 years? People are, and should be, terrified of what happens the second that warranty expires. You know, it's really fascinating how 2 completely different SUVs can end up in the exact same mess. Both the Nissan Armada and the Jeep Wagoneer L lose 54% of their value, but for totally different reasons. With the Armada, it's the loyal, old-school buyers who are rejecting the new turbocharged V6. It's part of this bigger trend where truck and big SUV owners are really skeptical of these smaller engines, feeling like they're paying more for less truck. But for the Wagoneer L, it's all about one thing: reliability. Or, the complete lack of it. Buyers are just plain scared of the massive repair bills they know are coming once that warranty is up. Now, at number 9, we have a vehicle that's basically become a synonym for both luxury and catastrophic depreciation, the Land Rover Range Rover Sport. Yeah, no huge surprises here. This quote from an actual owner really just says it all, doesn't it? The thing is plagued by oil leaks, transmission failures, and just these endless electrical gremlins. And that frustration you hear, it's directly reflected in the numbers. A 55.5% drop in value over 3 years. Look, when a car spends more time in the repair shop than on the road, its value just evaporates. And rounding out the first half of our list is the Jaguar F-Pace, which I've started calling the orphan SUV. It's losing an incredible 56% of its value, and it's not even all its own fault. Jaguar has decided to go all-electric, which means they are completely ditching their gas models. And that leaves F-Pace owners with a vehicle from a brand that has essentially abandoned it. Okay, you might want to take a deep breath. We are now heading into the second half of this list where the depreciation goes from just being bad to being truly, truly catastrophic. These are the absolute worst financial black holes in the entire SUV market. Kicking off our bottom 7 is the Dodge Durango. This old-school muscle SUV is just hemorrhaging value, with a 59% depreciation rate. Its platform is ancient, the craze for thirsty V8s is fading, and here's the real kicker. It loses almost 31% of its value. That's nearly $20,000 in the first year alone.
Next, we have a classic case of what I call troubled twins. The number 6 Dodge Hornet and the number 5 Alfa Romeo Tonale are, for all intents and purposes, the same SUV with different logos. They share a platform, they share an identity crisis, they share dismal sales figures, and they share a laundry list of recalls. It's this perfect storm of confusion and poor quality that leads to the Hornet losing 59% of its value and the Tonale an even more painful 61%. And Alfa Romeo's struggles just keep going at number 4 with the Stelvio. Look, it's a gorgeous SUV, and it's an absolute blast to drive. But that's where the praise ends. Just like its little sibling, the Tonale, it's held back by a tiny dealer network, almost no brand recognition, and a dreadful reputation for reliability. The result? A brutal 61% drop in value over just 3 years. Okay, you might really want to sit down for this next one. At number 3, we have the flagship Land Rover Range Rover, the undisputed icon of luxury, and it loses an almost unbelievable 68% of its value in just 3 years. For some owners, that's a loss of more than $70,000. So how in the world does a 6-figure luxury icon lose its value so spectacularly? Well, it all boils down to this: nightmarish reliability, incredibly complex electronics that love to fail, constant air suspension problems, and just astronomical out-of-warranty repair costs. This has created what's known as a lease and dump culture, where owners get rid of the vehicle the second the warranty is up, which completely decimates the used market. It's a liability nobody wants to get stuck holding. Well, here we are. We have arrived at the top 2 spots on our list of worthless SUVs. And in a pretty stunning twist, they both come from the same troubled Italian brand. So prepare yourself for a Maserati catastrophe. Just look at this number. Both the number 2 Maserati Grecale and the number 1 Maserati Levante share the exact same mind-boggling 71.9% 3-year depreciation rate. It's insane. So if they lose value at the exact same speed, what is it that makes the Levante the undisputed champion of depreciation? And here is the devastating difference. The Levante costs a whole lot more to begin with. So even though the percentage is the same, the actual amount of money you lose is catastrophic. We're talking about 6-figure SUVs, some with engines literally derived from Ferraris, losing more than 2/3 of their value. It is without a doubt the single worst depreciation disaster on the market today, period. So, we've made it through the whole disastrous list, but what's the common thread here? I mean, why are these specific 15 SUVs falling off a financial cliff while others aren't? Let's connect the dots. This chart really puts it all into perspective. As we've seen again and again, 45% of the problem, that's nearly half, is just due to reliability nightmares. These are cars people are literally afraid to own. Another 30% comes from a brand identity crisis, where buyers are just left scratching their heads wondering what the vehicle is even supposed to be. And the rest, it's a cocktail of bad corporate strategy, like flooding rental fleets, and powertrain issues that just drive away the loyal customers. So, what is the big lesson here? What's the takeaway from all this? It's actually pretty simple. A high price tag and a fancy badge on the hood mean absolutely nothing when it comes to holding value. In fact, as we've seen today, they often mean the exact opposite. And all this leaves us with one final and I think really crucial question. In a market this volatile, where a luxury badge can actually be a warning sign, what does it really take for a vehicle to be a smart, long-term investment? Is it just reliability? Is it brand reputation? Or maybe it's something simpler, like good old-fashioned quality? Definitely something to think about.